The topic that I am going to discuss is brand awareness, which is an important concept in brand management. Brand awareness is one of the fundamental elements of brand management concepts, and which is considered to be one of the important element or one of the important component of brand equity. So we are going to discuss mostly into brand awareness. Brand awareness is the extent to which the customer is able to recall or recognize the brand under different conditions. So brand awareness means the ability of the customer to recall or recognize the brand under different situations or under different conditions or under different purchasing situations. So suppose we are going to a particular shop and we want to purchase some items from the shop. Normally the customers purchase an item which they are aware of. Even though the shop owner, the shopkeeper is telling you to purchase this particular item is good. Suppose if you don't know this particular brand, and if you are not aware of this particular brand, normally the customer is not going to purchase that particular item. So which is very important concept in brand management, and according to David Ecke, brand awareness is one of the component of brand equity, one of the component that determines the brand equity. He has defined brand equity and he has mentioned it has 5 components, and brand awareness is considered to be one of the most important element of brand equity. And as the brand awareness increases, the brand equity of that particular brand increases. As well as according to Kevin Lane Keller, the brand awareness is one of the 2 dimensions of brand knowledge. Brand knowledge has 2 dimensions. One is brand image, another one is brand awareness. So that is the importance of brand awareness, and we are going to discuss in brand awareness in detail. So brand awareness has different levels. Normally 3 levels is considered for a brand awareness. So we'll look into the levels of brand awareness. These all are the brand awareness levels or levels of brand awareness. The lowest level is brand recognition, the next level is brand recall, and the top level is top of the mind awareness. And the brand recall can be classified into 2. Under this one is aided recall and unaided recall. So if you look into the level of brand awareness in an order, we can see that brand recognition at the lowest level, then comes aided recall, then comes unaided recall, then comes the top of the mind awareness. So we will look into details of this one. What is brand recognition? Brand recognition means it is the ability of the customer to confirm prior exposure. That means a customer says that, yes, I have seen this particular brand before, I have seen it earlier, I have heard about this particular brand, I know this particular brand. So that means the brand recognition. That means the customer is confirming that he has seen this particular brand, or she has seen or she has heard about this particular brand before. So that is known as the brand recognition. And how we can test this brand recognition? There are different ways for testing the brand recognition. One test is discus test and another one is non-discus test. Non-discus test means that we are directly asking the customer, giving the brand names, different brand names we will give, and from that we are asking the customer whether you know about this one, or whether you understand this particular brand, whether you have seen this particular brand. For example, in this case you can look into Fanta, Limca, Lipton, Thumbs Up, Sprite, Cappy, Masa, Minute Maid, Nestle. If these brands are given, whether the customer is able to recognize this particular brands. So some of the customers may say that I have seen almost all except Cappy I haven't seen, or I haven't heard about this one. Some customers may say that I have seen 4 brands earlier, I have seen the logo and I have heard about this brand. Other brands I haven't heard about. So that means among this total number of 100 customers, maybe 80% of the people have heard about this particular brand. Rest 20% may not be aware of this particular brand, may not recognize this particular brand. Even they are not recognize this particular brand. So the responsibility of the brand manager is to create a brand recognition is the first level of creating brand awareness. Then comes the discus test. If you take the case of discus test, you are actually hiding a part of the brand name or logo. For example, if you are taking the case of these examples, you can look into this one. First one, Dettol, D, then space T, space OL. That means DE. From this particular example itself, if the customer is able to recognize Dettol as a brand, that means he is able to recognize this particular brand. Then another one is Synthol. If you look into this particular brand, you can identify this one. From this particular list, you can identify whether the customer is able to identify these brands. Synthol or Bata, Eveready, Zodiac or Vicks, Nike, Adidas, Lexi, Sunsilk, or Nescafe. These are the brands actually, but the customers, if you give this particular list, some of the customers may not able to recognize all this brand, even though they have heard about this particular brand, or even though they know about this particular brand, because a part of this brand name is hidden. They may not be aware of this, they may not be recognize this particular brand. So how far they recognized, even if we hide a particular part of the brand, is also known as a test for brand recognition. Then another thing is like brand logo. If you are taking the case of logo, and if you are hiding a part of the logo, here you can see the examples of Coca-Cola, Pepsi and Apple. Everyone knows this particular brands. But if you hide a particular part, or if you are showing only a particular part, sometimes you may not be able to recognize this particular brand. So that means the strength of the customer to recognize, or they may say that yes, their ability to recognize this particular brand among different brands. So that is known as the lowest level of brand awareness, that is brand recognition. Now let's look into the next level of brand awareness, that is brand recall. The next thing is brand recall. So brand recall is the ability of the customer to retrieve the brand from the memory. So if you are asking a particular customer, what are the brands that comes into cell phone market? If you are generally asking the customer, what all are the brands in cell phone market? So normally the customers will list down like Vivo, Samsung, Sony, Apple, like that the customers may give a lot of names. So since a person is asked, the customer, to retrieve the brand from the memory, asking a particular product category, the customer is retrieving some of the brands without any support. So that means they are retrieving the brand names or the brands from their memory. So that is known as the unaided recall actually. So aided recall means, suppose for example, if you are giving an support for the customer, like can you identify a particular brand in detergent which is having blue color? So then all the brand names, rather than sometimes if you ask the customer, they may not be able to recognize all the brands. But if you are giving a clue like this one, the customers will be able to recognize that particular brand. Like they may say that Surf Excel, before they may not have expressed this one. If you ask directly what are the detergent brands, they may say that Wheel or Ariel and Nirma, Henko, they may give all these brand names, but they may not have recognized a particular brand. So you are giving a clue to the customer, a brand in blue color, a detergent which is having blue color. So then the customer gives example, or customer recognize that particular brand with the aid, with the support from the external person or a brand manager who is asking this particular question. So that is the aided recall. So unaided recall means you are just giving a product class and a product category, and the customer is retrieving from the memory what all brands he is aware of. So he has to recollect all the brands that he is aware of in that particular product class. He will be expressing this one. So that is unaided recall. And for example, in the case I have mentioned, like what are the cell phones which is available in the cell phone market, you may say that Vivo, Samsung, Sony, Apple and all. But if I ask again, if I am giving a support to you like a brand which start with letter O, then you may say that Oppo, a brand which is in cell phone market. So that earlier didn't come, so later it has come to the customer's mind, because he recollect this particular brand name, and he, with starting letter O, he recollect this one. So that is known as aided recall. Now we will look into the next level of brand awareness, that is top of the mind awareness. So what is this top of the mind awareness? Top of the mind awareness is the first recalled brand in the brand recall. So, or first brand that comes to the customer's mind when we are thinking about, when we are asking a particular brand in a particular product category. Suppose I am asking the same question, what are the brands in the cell phone market? So the almost 100 people I am asking this particular question, and 80% of people are telling that the first brand recalled brand is Samsung. So that is the top of the mind awareness. So Samsung is in the cell phone market, Samsung is having the highest brand awareness level. So we can see that from this particular question or from a survey, we can understand which brand is having the most brand awareness, most level of brand awareness, or the top level of brand awareness. So that is termed as top of the mind awareness. So that is top of the mind awareness means nothing but the first recall brand in the brand recall test is known as the top of the mind awareness. So that's all. Thank you.